Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
All right, guys, welcome to Construct Your Life. Austin Linney here. So happy for y'all to join us today. We have my good friend, Kaelyn. How are you doing today, Kaelyn?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Guys, I asked her to be on, and she was like, why?
You're going to make me laugh this whole time.
And she's like, why? And I was like, because you're amazing. And a lot of the people that listen to my audience, I've seen the numbers, are younger investors or just people trying to build their life. And I know that me and you met a while back because of Maddie A's mastermind, and we've been talking on and off forever.
Yep.
And so why don't you tell, and the reason I brought you on is because, you know, somebody that has 1,000 units or 10,000 units, it's hard to relate to the listener. But somebody that is newer to real estate, you know, y'all are looking to buy your first house, you're getting married, all these things. These are things that people can relate to. And so why don't you tell us, you can start in college or wherever you want to start, but let's talk about kind of where you want to go.
We'll just take it on. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I love sharing this story. You've helped me up to this point, so I'm so grateful for you. But basically, so I graduated from Chico State in 2015, and I always had this, and I think a lot of people say this, like this founding love for real estate. Like, I don't know what I loved about it. I think I just love the fact that I can be hands-on with people, the communication aspect of it, but I knew that I wasn't ready to just jump fully into commission-based. Like, I just knew that. So I said, okay, well, if I want to get involved in real estate, but I don't want to be the commission aspect, what can I do? So I'm not joking, I moved back in with my parents and I walked into Keller Williams in Elk Grove. I literally walked in and just said, hey, do you have a job? Do you have any kind of like something I can do that maybe I could be paid a little bit for, internship? And it just so happened that their front desk position had opened up. So I started working at the front desk. I worked there for about 8 months, and then I was so grateful to become the executive assistant to the top producing agent in that office. So I went for 8 months. I just watched as commission checks came in, as I saw everyone's lifestyle, how that worked, and that really intrigued me. And then I saw like the back end of it. And then I got to be for 2 years, I became licensed. So then I was a licensed executive assistant, and I was hands-on on over 100 transactions. So I was hearing the verbiage, I was hearing the conversations, I was seeing the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, we all know real estate is not easy, and there is so much to it than just helping someone buy or sell a home. And you don't just receive $1 million commission check. Like, a lot of people think about real estate, like you have to find your niche of people, you have to go out and, you know, start your business. So I worked with her for about 2 years. And at that point, I saved money, not enough that I thought, but I saved money. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to try to do this. I'm going to go out on my own. And so what I did was I went out on my own for a whole year. I said, I think that's when you and I were chatting. I mean, I got to my 6 months in my first year. I did very well. My first 6 months in real estate, I kind of became overwhelmed, but I kept telling myself 1 year, and then I'll decide whatever that means. If it means I get a partner or I join a team. So I hit my 1 year, and then that's when you and I really hit it big on our conversations. And I looked at teams. I'm a huge analyzer, so I looked at every single team. I watched them. I saw people go to a team and join it for 2 weeks and get out of there. And so then I literally reach out to them and ask them why. And then a year later, I joined a team. And now today is my 1 year on my team. So I've been out on my own for 2 years. But today is my 1 year. They just posted it this morning, today.
That's so crazy.
I know.
So let's unpack. The universe is interesting. Let's unpack a couple things. When you're newer to the business, you know, I try to tell everybody, too many people are focused on what money they'll make in a deal and so on and so on. Proximity truly 100%. is power. So by you saddling up next to the number one producer and seeing that many transactions, I would imagine that when you got out on your own, you probably had more knowledge than most agents.
Most people. And I always tell people that too, when they're like, Kaelyn, you're killing it. Like you're in 2 years and you've literally done X, Y, Z. I think that's something we talked about too. I never forget where I came from. So I always do remember, and I do remind people that I did have that step ahead. I was very hands-on. I was making the calls. I was going to the inspections. So I don't forget that. I do know that I'm very blessed that I had all that, but what I also will tell people is, you think it's a certain way, but for some reason, when you're on your own and that business wasn't my business, right? Like when I went home at 5, like I didn't talk to the people. I didn't get the calls at 9, 10 o'clock at night. So I only knew so much. When you get out on your own, there's so much more that you're hit with that in my mind, it's like, oh my gosh, like when it's actually your deals and your clients, there's so much more to it. So I still had to learn. I thought I knew everything, but I didn't.
And I think when I talk to a lot of real estate agents, because I do have a lot that are in my world or younger and newer, I think that there is a part of a young agent that doesn't understand the gravity of a transaction for a family, right? Doesn't understand when it's somebody's first home. Right. And it's just a deal. But you have to understand, these are memories that these families will have. These homes mean more than 4 walls and some sheetrock, even though I'll tell you, if you're in an investment, it's a different deal. Right. Talk about how
it's a totally different feel. I mean,
just talk about as an agent, how you feel, because you have a lot of first-time home buyers. You're transitioning a little bit, but I know that's a lot of what you focused on. That is a different situation. It is a lot of emotion in there, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I always tell people, I say, my niche actually, I think, is the hardest. A lot of people think first-time buyers are the easiest. I actually think, and I say this kindly, I say this, humbly, but they are the hardest people to work with because they're nervous, they're excited. Many of them have spent all this time saving money to find that what they really want is a little out of their reach, and they might need to wait another 6 to 8 months, which, my people, I always say, these are my people. My generation wants instant gratification. And in real estate, that's not always the case. You may sit down with me and we may, realize that you need to wait another 6 to 8 months in order to be in the bracket or whatever that looks like. So, to be the bearer of bad news, and then to my generation who doesn't like to be told no, it's hard. And, a lot of people have, that champagne taste on the beer budget. And so I, once again, have to be, even though those are my age of people, I am the professional, and I have to have those hard, uncomfortable conversations sometimes to say, listen, I know you want that. That's the next home. Like, this is our first home. This is an investment. This is not your 10-year home, maybe 4 to 6 years. So I have to have a lot of hard conversations. And what I would say, and I'll keep it short, is I actually am not a sales girl at all. Like, I'm telling you right now, my worst job that I ever had was when I worked at Pier 1. The only time I've ever stepped in Pier 1 again is with my mother-in-law, because she loves to buy little trinkets for like Christmas. But I was the worst person because they told me, when I worked during Christmas time, you have to go up to people and ask them if they want to open up a card. And I'm like, that's so awkward. Like, someone came in to literally buy a cup, and I'm going to go up to them asking if they want to buy a card. Like, if they want to buy a card, or open up a card, they'll come to me, and then I would be glad to help them. So I think that's been the transition for me in sales. Is what I love about real estate is I get to have that communication with people, and I get to walk people through this journey. But I don't like the sales of it. So you'll see, and I know the way that I work my business is I promote myself and what I do and how I do things in hopes that people will be attracted to that and then come to me for that service. But it's been hard for me sometimes to kind of go out there and be like, hey, do you want to buy or sell a house? So I try to turn it, because sales is not my thing. It's really not,
So we're going to
Pier 1. They were so mean. I literally sold the leased car.
I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. I promised I wouldn't. But let's talk about putting yourself out there, because listen, I deal with it on a daily basis with the podcast. I try to remove myself from it, or when I'm putting out videos. I know that me and you talk about this all the time, and you've understood from Mattier, from Aaron, from all these people. They're truly buying into you. They're not buying into the house or the product. And there's a house at the end of this.
Right.
But talk about that struggle with going back and forth on, I don't want to feel like I'm promoting myself, but I want to put out what I do, and kind of just talk about that stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think that is a hard conversation sometimes, because the reality is that this is a sales job. This is a sales industry. If you want to, close deals and you want to help people, you need to put yourself in front of people, or they don't know who the heck you are and what you do. So for me, it's like reminding people, I have that balance of reminding people of what I do, why I do it, what I love about it, and what that looks like. But also respecting people in the sense of, people don't like someone to just reach out to them and say, hey, how's your day? And the moment they say, oh, like, it's great, you're like, oh, cool, do you want to buy or sell? Like, that's annoying. And I know that as a consumer myself of other products that people have tried to sell, I've analyzed that and what I'm attracted to. And so I try to like kind of mirror that. But the reality is, you have to go to the business first. And especially when you're younger, jumping into this industry, a lot of people don't take us seriously. So you have to go out. I mean, my first year, I was door knocking, I was cold calling, I was doing open houses every single weekend. And I did not like that, but I had to set up a foundation. And so I think you grow when you're uncomfortable. And I was uncomfortable. I didn't like the door knocking. It was uncomfortable. But what I will tell the new people that you work with too, the new agents, is you have to set that foundation. People don't just hand you business. If you are able to just be handed business or whatever, then that's great. And you should be humbled and very fortunate for that. But when you are starting out and you're younger, I had to set that foundation, and I was uncomfortable. And there was times you and I had that conversation where I was like, I don't know if this is for me. Like, I know I love to help people, but I don't like the sale side of like going out and getting in front of people like that. Now it's natural to me. It doesn't scare me because I know that I'm coming from a good place. But I'm at that point now where I've created such great foundation that my business is mostly referral, sphere of influence, family and friends. So in two short years, I basically have my business is referral.
Yeah, and 100%.
But
and
because I did that foundation of being.
And let's dig into that, if you don't mind.
Did I answer it? Tell me, Linney. Did I answer it?
You crushed it. You crushed it. But what I want to talk about, because there was real conversation of you walking away. I mean, there was a real conversation. So let's talk about you 100%. had the early success. But the success was destroying your personal life, but it was also destroying you because the business was running you. You weren't running the business. So let's talk about when you were in that storm, and you have a fiance, but y'all were dating at the time. Yes? No? Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Right. Correct. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me start with this. I will say, I think the hardest thing to do in this business is set boundaries. And I think that setting boundaries is so hard when you're newer is because it's like, I didn't feel like I had the strength to set boundaries, right? Like, it's like, if I don't have all this business coming in, who am I to set boundaries and tell people I can't talk to you after X, Y, Z or whatever? And so I was letting the business run me because I just felt like I didn't have enough under me, or anything major that had happened to me in order to set those boundaries. So when you and I were chatting and I was really struggling, it was when I was doing everything on my own. I was on my own. There was so much behind the scenes I didn't like doing, like the paper shoveling that I was having to do late at night. And then my business was blowing up, and I had my, now fiance that I was still trying to like keep that balance. But when you're newer in the industry, it's really hard to be like, oh no, I don't need to work with, so-and-so, I have enough business going. It's like, no, you need to take every little thing you can. So I for sure struggled. And I love how you said the business was running me. And I think we've talked about it. It's like, at what point did it turn around? And it turned around when I realized that not only was my personal life kind of like crashing because I was putting everything onto my business, but my business didn't care. Like, my people don't care. They go to bed at night. They don't empathize with what's going on at home. Like, that's not their issue. It's not their issue that I chose to, pick up their call at 11 o'clock. And so I think when that was a 180 was when it was like, what's more important to me? And what's important to me is that not only do I have a great foundation at home and I have a great relation with my husband and my future children, but then I also have a great business too of people that respect my boundaries and are okay for me to call them early in the morning if they talk, they reach out to me at 10 o'clock at night. What I tell new people is you have to, though, go through that struggle in order for you to be so confident in why you're setting those boundaries. If you don't know why you're setting those boundaries, then it's going to be very hard for you. And so for me, I know now that if someone reaches out to me at 7:00 at night and I'm sitting down with Nick for dinner, I do not feel bad saying, hey, at dinner, I'll call you later. Let's chat in the morning. Before I felt bad doing that, but now I don't feel bad. Why? Because I know that I'm setting that boundary because I want a great relationship. And in order for me to have a great relationship and have a healthy business, I need to set those boundaries. And so people may have to struggle a little bit like I did, you know.
And at the end of the day, your clients or people around you will move and dictate how you set the terms. I have a good friend of mine who's probably one of the best salesmen I know. Seriously, baller. He says that if he has a client email him or call him too much, he will not respond for 24 hours. And what he's doing is he's setting the tone.
Really?
He's setting the tone on how they're going to interact with him. But more importantly, and this took me a lot longer than you. When you realize that every day is the next best deal of your life, you will remove yourself from scarcity to abundance. And that is a confidence that's setting boundaries. But more importantly, by removing yourself from scarcity to an abundant mindset, you're opening the universe for creativity, and you're opening the universe to give you tenfold instead of onefold.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. That's what you
Couldn't
did.
agree more.
You said,
for sure,
I'm not going to chase the deal because the deals are coming.
Yeah. And also too, like, I mean, real estate aside, I think we're all as humans like struggling with that whole, I don't even know if balance is real, but really that balance, we all want a great life. We all want a great, you know, personal life, business life, all of that. And I do feel that when you have that mindset, when you're first starting out, when I was like working from scarcity, I was, you know, in my mind, I said, well, people are going to be so mad if I don't call them back, or they're going to be so annoyed that I'm at dinner. But really the people that I want to work with, and that's why I have such great clients, is they like that. They respect that. I mean, I remember once I texted a client recently, like, hey, I'm at dinner with, you know, Nick, let me call you after. And she's like, oh my gosh, perfect. Enjoy your dinner. I think what we forget is as salespeople is other people are doing stuff as well. Like when you go to the bank, right? The bank closes at 5. You can't do anything after 5. There's certain things that we just cannot do after a certain time. And so that can wait. And I think it's all people want is just to be communicated with. So the moment that I was over communicating, letting people know like, hey, like, sometimes I'll literally be like, hey, I know we're having a great conversation. I'm going to sit down for dinner real quick. I'll call you an hour. Cool. You just communicate. Like, and I think we just forget that we could just communicate with people. People like to be communicated with. The issue is with, you're never calling them back. You're never letting them know what you're doing. Like, I have my life. And when I'm running my life the way that I want to run it, like when I'm actually sitting down for dinner and I'm doing XYZ, you actually get a better me. When my fiance and people at home are not happy because I'm just being a little busy, you're not going to get the good me, because now I'm pissed off that I'm now working with you over them. And it just, people don't understand that. When you have that balance, everybody gets the best of both worlds. So I'm confident in that. And I'm so excited to continue to run. I know you're proud of me right now. Because I've just come so far. Dude. Are you going to get emotional?
Yes, I'm full on emotional right now because I'm dead.
That's a long way.
I'm dead serious because, guys, true story. Like,
I made Linney cry.
I dealt with her through the fire, and I told her, I told her 2 days ago. I texted you. I said, this person that you are right now is so amazing because you are showing up in public as the best version of yourself and to your soon-to-be fiance, which I'm sure he's appreciated, and so your relationship is stronger than ever.
Oh my God!
Yeah. And it's just choosing.
Well, and I think too.
Go ahead.
Oh no! You go. Sorry, I got excited. Finish.
No, I know, but like choosing your life over somebody else's only gives you more respect to your clients. That's just not hard, guys.
100%.
What were you gonna say?
And the more and well, I was gonna say, I don't know. Did you want to talk about like team? I think one of the biggest questions I get all the time is
that's the next route for sure. No, because I want to talk about.
Is that our next
Yeah, I want to talk about how that was a very, very hard decision for you. I know you went back and forth for weeks to leave 100%. the team that you were at to join this new team, months. So let's talk about that process when you were, you were talking about leaving, maybe not even going to the new team. So let's talk about what your views on that from just a team point of view was.
Yeah, I think, okay, so this is the first team I've been on. So when I was an assistant to an agent, it wasn't a team. It was just her and I, basically. And then I went out on my own, still at Keller Williams for a whole year. In that year, I'm a huge journaler. I really was like, what's going on, right? Like, why am I not excited? I got to the point where I wasn't excited about business anymore because I was so overwhelmed. And on top of being overwhelmed business-wise, I was overwhelmed personal-wise because it was just so hard for me to give myself to now my fiance and also my clients as well. And I just needed that guidance of like setting that boundary. So basically what happened was, like I said, I'm going to give myself a year. Here's what I struggled with. I have a humbled ego. So not like a bad ego, but in the sense of like, I don't need help getting business. I just needed support. And I think that that's the biggest mistake that people make. A lot of people, and I myself too, felt that if you join a team, it's because you can't do it on your own. And that was triggering me because it was like, I can do it on my own. I'm just struggling balancing both. And so what I will tell people is I don't think a team is for everybody, but I also think that when you join a team, you need to know why you're joining a team instead of just joining a team thinking that people are going to hand you leads and your whole life is going to be easy. So for me, what that looked like was I had to get very clear on what I was looking for. And what I was looking for was a team that had already had all the systems in place of doing the things behind the scenes that I didn't like doing so that I can continue to be in front of my clients. I could continue to have that energy to be on all the time on social media, reaching out to people, going and sitting down and having coffee, whatever that looks like. So I actually had a ton of teams reach out to me, and I would kind of analyze them. And I always tell people, I'm like, when you join a team, I think that we think they're interviewing us, but we're actually interviewing them. We're all interviewing each other. I'm seeing if they're good enough for me and they're seeing if I'm going to work hard enough for them. So that's something I would tell any new agent looking to join a team. You're interviewing them too. Go in with questions. Go in with what, if I bring XYZ, what are you going to do for me kind of, it's a support. So I had the Bishop Real Estate Group. They reached out to me and I still had 6 months to my year, right? Because I wanted to finish a year. So I watched them. I analyzed them. I looked at everything. I compared them. And I just fell in love with them from the start, but I also wanted to continue out my year. And what I loved about them is they're not pushers. They are the same as me in the sense of like, they're going to continue to remind you that we're here to support you, but we're not going to hold your feet to the fire. We're going to support you if you choose us or someone else. And that's what I love about them. And I have mad respect about them because that's how I roll too. And so they would reach out to me like every 2 months. Hey, do you ever want to come to an open house? Come to an open house. Hey, and so even with me not giving them anything, they were still just supporting me. They liked me and they just wanted to support me. So cut the story short, I sat down with them twice and I realized that, I could still be me and bring my own businesses and just, business in, but they're going to support me in ways that will help me continue to do what I need to do. I will say what was tough for me though, is like when I have a listing, right? My name's not on it. That was something that they told me up front. Your name's not going to be on it. So if you need to be the star of the show and you have a big ego and you need to see your name, we're not for you. That was a little hard for me. And I think I'm open to tell people that because there's someone probably on the other end of this. It's like, yeah, that's going to be hard for me too, but I did it and it's worked out and it's fine. And I still get to be hands-on and they're still my clients. I don't like taking leads. I haven't closed one lead from the team because that's in my mindset. I want to still close my own people just because that makes me feel good. But we have a full-time assistant and a full-time marketing person. And if I'm driving and I need something, I can call them. And instead of me, I would stress out and pull over to the side of the road to try to send something out. I literally call them and they send it out to my client and my client has it while I'm still driving, helping another client. So it's just that support has been so amazing. And even Nick, so my fiance will be like, sometimes I will say like, oh my gosh, I'm giving X amount away because you do have splits. He's like, it doesn't matter. You're happier, you're healthier, you're excited, you're happy about the industry. It doesn't matter. I think that thing is sometimes money doesn't matter if your mindset is golden and people will treat you well. So I don't know if I covered that whole thing. Maybe I hope this helps someone. I would love to help anybody that's looking to join a team. Because it's what worked for me. And it's the only reason why I'm still in this industry today. Because if I was still on my own, I would have either drove Nick mad or freaking got out of this industry. My capacity was too much. I couldn't do it all. Mm-mm.
You're going to make me cry twice. I look, guys, the reason
I talk a lot, Lynn. Better talk, Lynn, because I talk too much.
The reason I'm so emotional is because I have been there right with her this whole journey. And I don't even know who this person is.
Yeah.
I really don't. You are flourishing. You're confident. You're right where you need to be. Let's talk about just in the last couple of months with everything that's going on in the world. How many deals have you closed? Because you're still just crushing it through this whole thing. Like what I think was April your best month. I think I saw.
No, I think it was May. May was a good month for me.
How many deals did you close?
I've closed this year.
Yeah.
I closed 5, I think I closed 5 in May.
How many deals have you closed
this year? I closed 14. 14.
Second year. Just slaying it.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, I actually was looking at my numbers. I was quite proud of myself. I was looking at my numbers yesterday. Mm-hmm. And in 2 years, I've closed 34, 35.
Stop.
In 2 years. And and let me tell you, they're all me. Like they're all my referrals from family, friends, past clients, open houses. Like they're all my sphere of influence. So I think that's what makes me so glad.
Talk about that. Of course, because look, I agree. When I worked for private equity, we ran the numbers. 80% of our deals was from referrals, and because they're almost in the door already. So talk about, as an investor or agent or just anybody, how do you keep going back to the well and not having to search for leads? What are you doing?
Well, I would say I am big on social media, and what I will tell people too is you need to pick what works for you, right? I think that if we push people on saying you have to do social media, and they don't like doing it, it's going to come across really awkward. So people need to find the niche and what works for them. For me, the social media was just my thing. I really want people to know who they're working with, and that's why I do share personal life stuff, business stuff, anything and everything, just so people feel like when they reach out to me, they kind of already know me, and they feel like they have a sense of who I am and what I do and what I stand for. And so I will say I started my social media about 4 years ago. So when I was working with that agent, I was always pumping out real estate stuff. Like I was almost using that platform to just help me grow. And so I will say, even though, yes, I've been 2 years on my own, I have had the other 2 years of people kind of seeing like Kaelyns in real estate. So when people think real estate, I wanted them to think of me. And so that really helped me. But I think people feel comfortable with me. They, like I said, they don't know me right on social media, but they feel like they know me and they feel like they've had this bond to me. And my thing is like real estate and this whole journey is nerve-wracking for people. And so if people can just take that leap and feel comfortable to reach out to me, that's where that relationship starts. And so I've had a lot of people reach out to me on Instagram. I've had referrals from out of state, people that followed, Sacramento agents, and then we referred business. My family and friends, my first year, my family was hesitant to, my grandma actually did not use me to sell her home. And I handled it very wrong. I handled it very wrong. I was very irritated. And I was very pissed because I thought that I was owed that business. And what I'll tell anybody is you're not owed anything. Your friends and family do not have to use you. And I was irritated, and I'm actually irritated with myself today on how I reacted because now I've matured a year later. And, the reality is you got to be happy for everyone. There's so many agents out there now. I see friends all the time that buy a home, and there's a part of me that's like, gosh, I didn't do well enough. Like I didn't, obviously I just wasn't for them. But what I realize is you got to be happy for people. And the more happier you are and the more genuine you are, the more people are attracted to you and want to work with you. So my first year, yes, I reached out to my whole sphere and my family and friends, but I didn't reach out saying, hey, do you want to buy or sell? I said, hey, I just joined this industry. I'm super stoked about. If you have any questions related to it, if you wanted me to run a CMA for you, if you just want to chat, I'm here for you. And I just started with that genuine and just coming from a place of like knowledge and I'm here for you. And over time, I think that people just grew a respect for that. And then they felt more comfortable. Once I started doing more deals, they felt more comfortable to refer me. And I think really my videos and just showing people how hard I'm working resonated with them. And what I will tell you too is new agents jumping in, you know, you're scared, right? You don't have anything under your belt. It's really hard. It was hard for me to say like, oh, I've closed 3 and someone's closed 30 already, right? That's hard. But what I will also say is a lot of times the newer people are the ones that'll work overtime. They'll work the hardest for you. And so I think that it wasn't trying to prove people of what I was. It was just showing what I'm doing to be better. And every day I'm better. Every day I'm learning more. I'm not the fastest, smartest, strongest. But I will work hard for people and I care about their business, and I'm still going. I'm learning every day. I know people in the industry that have been in for 30 years and they've still not gone through situations I've gone through with my clients. So that's just how I've been able to retain my clients so far. And I'm just hoping it can continue to be the referral based.
I might have to get off this podcast because I'm a wreck right now. I'm so happy.
Are you a wreck? I know you're like emotional over there. What's going on?
I can't help it. I'm so happy.
I tell people all the time. They're like, I tell people, I'm like, I almost got out of the industry twice, and they're like, what? Why? You're doing so well. And I'm like, this industry can knock you. I mean, it's like I said, for someone who does not like sales, and I do not always like the confrontation, even though now I'm like, no. I've become stronger because you have to be. If you're not strong in this industry, you're going to get eaten alive. And I've gotten eaten before. I mean, I literally have had agents call yelling at me. Agents are brutal. So that was not what I wanted. Like, that's not the industry I thought I was joining. And I think that that's why I've done well, though, is because it's so much relationship based that's what's kept me afloat.
And
but you got to have a tough skin.
And what people have to understand is you as a person. If you are look, where we are moving to in society with Instagram, LinkedIn, all these fucking things, just be wild. You. Just look, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody knows my story. Trust me, from the podcast. I lead with that.
Right.
Like, who cares? Like, why put that? Like, dude, this is where I was. You know, it is what it is. And people respect that more by just being true on who you are. And more importantly, this is the kicker. You will attract the right type of people in your life. As simple as that. And it'll push away the people. I read a quote yesterday. Right. I love it. It's my favorite one. Be so damn happy that negative people don't even want to talk to you. Like, I
saw that this morning.
Yes, I love that.
I saw that this morning.
So we're gonna do something interesting. This is gonna be a little interesting for you. I just thought of this. Making me nervous. No, so you're 2 years into the business. Yes. I want you to have a conversation with Kaelyn, who started 2 years ago, and give her advice if you could talk to her now.
Holy crap. How much time you got? I got a freaking shit ton to say.
Let's go, baby.
I would tell honestly, and you're saying like starting in the business, like my future self or my past.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Be who you are, be humble, be kind. Be honest about your journey, and remember that your first chapter is someone else's chapter 30. Like there's so many people that are doing well. The people that you're looking up to and the people that are doing well started where you're at. And they have grown and they have all this stuff under their belt because of time. You're going to make mistakes. You're human. And unfortunately, you're going to learn at the expense of others. I think that was the hardest thing for me to learn, is you're going to learn at the expense of others, and you just have to be graceful and smile and have people's back and say sorry when you mess up and own up to things, because you're human. Don't be too hard on yourself. Set your boundaries and get very clear on what you want your life to look like. If you want your life to look like you're doing 40 deals a year, then yes, you're going to be working your tail off. You probably shouldn't have a relationship, or if you do, it's not going to be healthy. And if your relationship is your number one thing, don't lose sight of that. And don't be afraid to walk away from business that doesn't serve you.
Damn. I mean,
boom, baby, got it.
I might cry for a fourth time, guys.
Hey, I'm a cry. You know what? I've cried so much with my wedding planning lately, but I have no more tears.
So okay.
I have no more tears.
So just to talk about life in general, for anybody that's listening, It's been a wild year. Would be an understatement. I got divorced. Shit's crazy. I got laid off. Life's crazy.
Your wedding. Everybody's having a wild year.
Your weddings, and we don't know. You just had your bachelorette party. Yeah. Talk about that. When life, everybody, like I did a podcast a while back about absolutes. Everybody lives their life on absolutes. Nothing's going to change. That's a mistake. Life is crazy. Right. So let's talk about how you navigate through life when you don't know if you're going to have a wedding. Nothing seems right? Talk about how crazy that journey's been this year.
Oh, man. Well, here's the scoop. I'm a Cancer, so I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I'm a very emotional person. So that's why I'm surprised seeing you cry. I've not cried yet. It's been tough. And I think that I always tell people, I'll start with this and I'll lead with the rest is, I don't think everyone's meant to be vulnerable and tell people how things are going. I think that I just don't think that's everybody. Like my sister, she wouldn't be vulnerable to people. Like that's just not her personality. So I truly believe that if you have that platform and you're okay to be vulnerable, you should be. And so this is me just being vulnerable. I try to always just be very honest. It's not been easy. And it's crazy because there's so many times where I say like, if I'm having a breakdown or a meltdown or whatever, I'm like, well, so many people are having it worse than me. And I'll have people say, I know that. And I'm glad that you are recognizing that, but you're still human and we can still validate that you're going through something too. Mm-hmm. So while I understand so many people are going through so much, I mean, I literally know friends whose parents have cancer right now and they can't see them. Like I know people are going through it worse, but I think that it's very important that we all still validate what we're feeling personally and we don't overstep that. So this time has been very hard for me. When Corona first hit and we went in shelter in place, I was my busiest in my business. So I was having to show homes in the heat with wearing gloves and masks and Cloroxing everything, it was wild and it took an emotional toll on me. And I think too, being someone who I'm so outspoken and I love to go, I'm with people all the time and going into restaurants and eating, the first 2-3 months was fine, but I'll let you know, like the last 2 months has been very mentally challenging for me. You're trying, for me, the wedding, a lot of people can say like, oh, it's just one day, postpone it. But, since Nick and I got engaged last year, we've had 4 people pass in our family. So for me, it's like, do you postpone? And then what if something else happens to one of our parents? Or what if this happens? There's a part of me where it's like, hey, it's only just us getting married, like whatever. But then there's that other part where it's like, I've been planning this day since I was a girl, a little girl. I would like some people to be there. So that's been challenging. My business is doing great and it's busy, but you're also dealing with people who are on different emotional levels too. I mean, business-wise, with my first-time buyers who are already hesitant to jump in, right? Many of them are like, I don't know if I'm going to get furloughed. So we're in escrow. I had 2 escrows that fell out because unfortunately my clients, lost their jobs or they took a pay cut. I always say in real estate, you're wearing so many hats. You're not just an agent helping them write an offer, get it accepted, and you hand them the keys. You are their emotional support a lot of times. And so I would have people calling me while I'm here fighting with Nick about a wedding thing or this and that. My client's like, I need to talk on the phone now. And they're calling me crying, going, I just lost my job. Am I going to lose the house? It's emotional, right? Like there's so many things happening. And I think that all we can do is just give ourselves time and grace when we need it. And my team told me I got to my capacity at one point. I had people reaching out from my sign call from one of my listings. They basically called the sign and they weren't represented. And I actually, in that moment, I was very proud of myself. This was a month or 2 ago. I said, I don't have a capacity to take on any more buyers right now. And I referred them to someone on my team. And to me, that was a huge step in growth. Yeah. I gave them away.
No, stop. You know what you did right there? Just so we can, what? I want to drill it home.
Okay. Okay.
What you did right there is you stepped outside of your ego and you chose your life over a dollar amount. And
100%. Yep.
In the moment, that seems like it's just, that's what it is. But that moment right there is quantified 30 times over for the rest of your life. Because when you are in, I can't talk about that right now, but I'll save it for another podcast. But when you are in the moment and you have chosen yourself, your husband, your fiance,
my family,
But more importantly, you've told the universe that you're okay. And when you tell the universe that you're okay, it just shines that sun just a little more brighter on you.
Yeah. Someone said to me a long time, sorry.
No, you're good.
Someone said a long time ago to me, they're like, when you're in a good place and you know who you are and you know how you want to run your business, you will be okay to let people go. You know, my biggest thing is I never want, you know, I do care what people think about me. And if I feel like a client's not happy or satisfied, it eats at me. I can't sleep at night. I care about what people think. And so for me, I'm like, there's no way I could give someone away. If someone wants to work with me, like, that's exciting. I can't give them away. But I also know that you're doing them a disservice by taking their business, knowing that you don't have the capacity for it. They don't deserve that. So I think I almost sleep better at night knowing that. And so I actually had someone else reach out to me too. I had a referral. I had a investor referred to me, and I was excited to work with them. But what I realized was I had already set 6 to 8 months ago, I had set a boundary that I'm not going to work after 10. Well, this person kept texting me, you know, all these homes at 11:30 at night. My phone was going off. And there was a part of me that I wanted to grab it and help them. But then I look over at Nick, who's like, you know, you have this commitment to me. And so I realized in that moment that it's not fair to either of us. It's not fair to work with this client for him. And it's not fair that that client's working with someone that is not able to, you know, commit to their needs. And so it was hard, but it was actually easy. I called her 2 days later and I said, listen, I want the best for you. I think you deserve the best. I want you to be taken care of. And I just don't think we're aligning because I'm not able to take those calls at 11:30. And while I want to so bad, it doesn't align with me. And she thanked me and was so happy. And I referred her to someone else. She's happy taken care of with someone that's a night owl and up and is able to help her at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And I'm in bed watching TV with Nick at 10, and the best of both worlds. Everyone's taken care of, and I feel good.
All right, guys, because she made me cry a bunch. I'm going to try to get her. All right.
Yeah, you're not gonna make me cry. I'm telling you right now. My tear ducts. No more tears out of this, baby. Mm-mm.
So I just want it on record, because literally I met her when she was thinking about getting out of the business. I've said this to you privately. The woman that you are inspires me every day to be better, because
I appreciate that.
You truly are a ray of sunshine in so many people's life, and you have a lucky fiance, and you have a lucky niece and family, and you are an amazing example of what tenacity and not giving up and choosing yourself first looks like. And that's why you're on the podcast, because your story is amazing, and it's only just getting started. And we're going to do another one of these a while back later on. But I just want to tell you that my heart is full, and you make me so happy. So
you make me happy, and I'm grateful for you too. I'm grateful for every day. I always say, people don't ever forget the people that helped you along the way, is because you really did just say, do it. You said, figure it out. What do you want? You literally were like, when are you joining a team? When are you joining a team? You already know that that's what you need in order to grow and be sane in your life. Why are you not taking that step? Or what is it that you need before you take that step? Go get it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so I'm totally grateful for that. And I appreciate all your kind words. And I know that I'm just starting. And when I get hard on myself, I'm like, and comparing myself to people that have been in the business 6 to 8 years, it's like, I'm just starting. Like I'm just getting a roll on it. So I'm happy that I'm learning those healthy boundaries now, because I truthfully feel like if you go so far into it and you get so deep, it's very hard to get out. And so I told myself I want to set those boundaries and have a healthier, business early on.
And you know what you've done, knowingly or unknowingly, right? And this is where it gets a little deeper. You've knowingly given your time and your attention to your unborn kids.
100% agree. That's what makes it emotional. Yes.
Exactly. Because you've made a choice that this is, I just did a rant about this. People get it all messed up. Right. It's a diet, or it's a trip, or it's this. No. It's a lifestyle. This is my lifestyle. Is my business is not my identity.
Yeah.
My business is my vehicle to spend time with my kids. My duty and my intention is to spend time with people that give a shit about me, which is my fiance and my unborn kids and my dogs and my friends. But so many people say, I'm only going to do it when I get here. Whatever. Like, that doesn't even make sense because, like you said, 4 people have passed away in that short amount of time. Like, you don't know. And so you've made a conscious decision that you're going to construct a lifestyle that suits you and no dollar amount. And guess what, guys? She lives in California. It's not cheap. And so, and so you have to hustle, but you also can hustle in the right direction and not be spinning your wheels. And that's what we're trying to get at.
I can be proud of myself too. I'm not proud of myself when I, when I set a goal for myself and I fail, it doesn't make me proud. And so Nick is my goal, right? So and there's days trust me, I'm not perfect. There's days that I do take calls at 10 o'clock at night, but I make up for it. But he's my goal. So when I look at him, because I've done something that's gone against what we've talked about, and I see just in his face, like disappointment, it's like, no, not worth it to me. Not worth. I'd rather do less business and make less money to have a more healthier family life, a more healthier relationship with myself. And I know that we're coming up on time, but I'll finish with this is, everybody's business is different. Everybody's goals are different, right? Like I know people my age, like for me, I would love to, help 24 families this year. I'm halfway there, which is exciting. But I know people that are saying, 40 is their goal. Well, to do 40 to 24, you're working extra time and more. I don't want to do that. So, I have made it a thing is this, I would love to make XYZ. I would love to help this many families, and I'd love to, spend this much time with myself and my fiance. What does that now look like? You can't compare yourself to people that want more than you, and you can't compare yourself to people that want less than you, and you can't compare yourself to people that are in different niches. I'm first-time home buyers. I'm not selling the $1 million homes, but I do have a game plan for my life. I'm selling, I'm helping first-time buyers in the next 3 to 4 years. I'd love to help them then sell their homes and then to buy that next home. And I'm just beginning. Like I'll slowly just start going up to where I don't have to close as many deals and I'm making more because the price is higher. But I also want to earn my stripes. I want to sell everything. I want to sell mobile home. I want to sell everything so that I'm humbled. I don't put my hand out and I don't expect people to work with me. I'd love to work with people, but I don't expect them to work with me. You have to work with who you feel comfortable with. And that's all I can do. I'm just trying to live my truth and do my thing. And I get overwhelmed still sometimes and I have to back it up. But
that's when she calls me.
And I will say my future kids, I hope they're proud of me.
I know they're proud of you.
And that, I
know they're proud of you. So how?
Thanks.
I can't wait.
But I'm going to tell them. I'm going to get out there, go knock.
That's right, baby. I can't wait to be a guest on your little show that you started. It's my favorite thing. But why don't you tell everybody how they get?
I know I started it and I've been a little behind.
Well, don't make me text you. Yeah. So how do they find you? How do they get a hold of you? Instagram, Facebook, all the stuff. Yeah.
Instagram, well, you better tag me, but Instagram, I'm actually Homes with Kay. So on there is my email and my phone number. Anyone can reach out. One thing I'll say, I love getting back to anyone. I'll never forget when I was first starting out, I reached out to people I looked up to. Like I messaged them, like really nice texts, and they're not celebrities. So like they easily saw it and could have got back to me. And they read it and did not get back to me. And that was just really sad for me because it's like you look up to these people. So anybody that's new or starting out, if you reach out to me, I 100% will get back to you. I love to help people jumping in because I want to see them succeed. So message me, or if you're in another state and you want to maybe have like a referral thing, whatever that looks like, I would love to support people however I can. So all my information is on my Instagram.
Well, thank you.
Did I kill it?
We'll talk about it offline. I can't even deal with it right now. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. If you like this episode, share it with your friends. It's my pleasure, guys. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.